Hello and welcome back to the channel. You're joining me on the 1st of May. April was alright, it was pretty solid to be fair, sold a few cars, wasn't setting the world alight but it was enough for what we needed to do. And today I'm going to pick up a car which I've not had in stock before, so I'm relatively excited. I always like to look at new things, it's a relatively new one, so stick around, make sure you find out what that is. But this one here behind me is one that we've just taken in part exchange. It's one that I'm swapping with the trader. It's Max, and if you're familiar with the channel, I buy quite a lot of stock from Max. So he's having this one back for me. We supplied it previously. It came in part exchange against the silver Porsche Panamera that I've recently done a video on. And that would be the third car that he's bought from us. So we supplied this to him previously. It is a Mercedes-Benz C220D estate. And if I was struggling for stock, the honest truth is I'd probably go on with it because I think they're just really good value and good practical family estate cars and still look really quite cool, I think. Being the AMG line, it's also a premium, so it's got, as you can see up here, the panoramic roof, got these diamond cut alloys, and if you were fussy, you'd absolutely get those refurbished. Whether you get them re-diamond cut or not, I don't know because of the value of the car. But it's got the automatic xenon headlights. It's the 125 edition, which I'll show you inside what that means. It's done 104,000 miles with a lovely service history throughout. So as I say, if I was struggling for stock, it is one that I'd go on with just as a little cheapie. But it actually works out more practically for me today to use it as a swapper, so I can go and get the car from Max that I really want into stock. But I just thought I'd show you a little bit about it and think that it is cracking value. I reckon whoever has this from Max probably going to stick it up for 6,495, something like that. It's got these cool red seat belts, heated leather and Alcantara seats, which is an additional extra. You see the heated seat button down there, as you see, 104,601 miles with a lovely history, so really quite nice. But yeah, just really quite cool cars. Looking forward to driving down on a sunny day with the pan roof open. Got both keys, got a really good folder full of history. So yeah, I'm sure if you was to search for this car relatively soon, you'll find it, and I think it's a really good one. But let's hit the road on a nice sunny day, get down to Cornwall, and I'll show you what I'm picking up. Okay, so got my coffee, my sunnies, sunroof's open. Let's hit the road. Okay, so I made it to Max's yard. Obviously that's the part exchange over there. Didn't miss a beat in the 80 or so miles I did. Took about an hour and a half, so the traffic was pretty bad. But this is what I've come to collect. This is a Mercedes-Benz A-Class, the newer shape, but the bit that's more exciting about it is if I come round to the rear, it is the AMG A35 edition, which is obviously a 2-litre turbo petrol, just over 300 brake horsepower, and it's the 4MATIC version as well, so it is the 4-wheel drive. As I say, first one that we've had, but I know them to be quite exciting cars. It's got a relatively good specification as well. We've got heated memory seats, we've got an upgraded sound system. Obviously need to get it started and running in just a second, but it's got this nice long dash, which I wasn't totally convinced on to begin with, I will be honest, but as things come on, they do grow. And we have had the newer Mercedes in with this multifunctional steering wheel, which is quite cool. So this does this side of the screen and this does that side of the screen. So for usability and tech, it is quite clever. We've got auto xenons. We've also, I believe, got the 360-degree cameras as well. Got these nice sporty bucket looking type seats, but they still seem to be really well padded. So hopefully it'll be a nice comfortable drive back, but it does need an almighty clean, as most cars do when they come in part exchange. We've also got the opening panoramic roof, which I'm really quite excited about. When it was first mentioned that it was red, wasn't quite as excited as I possibly am now, but I actually quite like it. I think it looks quite striking. I think if you're going to have a hot hatch, red is definitely a colour to stand out. I have seen a few as well where they've got almost like body kits on them. You can get these kits from eBay, so I might well look into doing something like that just to make it really obvious that it is an A35. But we've got a cracking service history on here as well. So we've got this one here is the one I want to show. We've got a good service history, 2020 at 12,000 miles, 2021 at 24,000, 2022 at 36. 2023 at 52, and September of 2024 at 63. It's now done 69. So the mileage is not exactly low mileage, but I don't think it's out of the ordinary for good German quality engineering such as an A35. So I'll get the camera set up on the inside and the one set up on the outside, and we'll make our journey back. Okay, so got some fuel, now heading back to the showroom. It says about an hour and a half to get down here. Hopefully it's not quite that long to get back. But yeah, I mean it's a pleasant place to be. Obviously being a bit more hot hatch orientated, the suspensions are maybe a little stiff. The steering's really quite direct, and obviously because it's an AMG, you want to feel like it is that sporty hot hatch. So the throttle's nice and responsive. The exhaust note sounds pretty cool. I quite enjoy this long dash, albeit it can be very distracting. Obviously there's a few things that people like to set up to kind of like personalise it to how they want it to look. But as I say, you can do the both halves of this long screen with your steering wheel controls, or of course you've got this pad down here. It reminds me of the Lexus. It's almost like a mouse pad style, and I'm not the biggest fan of it. I do prefer to have physical buttons. So yeah, I think that can be quite distracting. This here doesn't really do anything, it just exists. But this mouse pad, it's okay. It's not my choice really, because you don't necessarily get you get haptic touch feedback, but you don't really get a good indication of where it is you actually are without focusing solely on this screen. I'm sat at a traffic light now, so I can do it. But there is a lot of personalisation you can do, how you want the maps to look. You can obviously set up quite a bit of ambient lighting, which is quite nice in the later Mercedes. I do like it, all across the door cards, in the vents and in the footwells and everything. You can have it so it's multicoloured, different brightnesses, everything like that. You can do it all via this screen and this pad, or of course on the steering wheel control. The steering wheel control is probably my choice to be able to mess around with it, only because you are still holding the steering wheel rather than having it off. But I don't think it's the best design. But at the same time, I think that novelty will wear quite quickly, in the sense that once you've kind of set everything up and you just jump in and drive, you wouldn't have to mess around with it quite so much. There's also a lot of digitalisation obviously on the screen that you can do with the speedos. You can have different speedo styles. You can even change what each dial's giving you. So you can have it like on the right hand side, you can have it as your rev meter, but it'll also give you your G-forces, or give you how much boost you're using, or how much horsepower at that precise time. It's very, very clever stuff, and I quite like it. As I say, it's not a dig. The only dig is annoyingly it is quite distracting, and you do have to really focus on what it is that you're doing, whilst reality is you should be focusing obviously on the driving element, because you are in control of a car. Specification wise, again, it is really quite good. It is a rear camera with 360 sensors. I've got lane departure warning, I've got adaptive cruise control as well, so I can set obviously distances from the car in front. They're not xenon lights, they're LED lights. My mistake on the previous segment, but the LED lights are really quite cool. Obviously the tech is very up to date, and they're still using this A-Class even in today's obviously model, which is really quite cool. So yeah, it's a cool place to be. That long dash is cool. As I say, I think the novelty will wear off relatively quick, so you're not quite so distracted with it over time. But drive-wise, it's a little noisy in the cabin because you've got low profile tyres and stiff suspension, and I'm on Cornish roads, which are never really that good. But you can put it into a sport mode, and it changes the exhaust note and makes the steering even slightly heavier, but more direct and more responsive. And these roads, they are good fun when you pick up something like a hot hatch, to be able to give it a bit of welly throughout. A 300 brake is no small feat. It's amazing what you get out of a 2 litre these days. I mean, it's very similar to the M235i that I've just had in, which again is a 2 litre, and again just over 300 brake, and that was the X-Drive, so it's almost like a direct comparison to that car. I quite like the BMW's internals, but the Mercedes kind of pips it just a little bit due to the design of the vents. I really quite like looking at those, and one big LED screen is really quite smart. But I'd hate for it to go wrong, that's for sure, because I've no idea what the cost of repair would be on something like that. But we try not to think about those things. I haven't heard of them going wrong, to be honest with you. They always seem to be pretty solid, pretty good news. And yeah, as I say, the only thing I don't really like about it is the control element of here. There's a lot of roadworks today, and I seem to be getting caught at every red light, which is fine. But yeah, it's just this element of the mouse pad bit. I'm not convinced that's right. And then this here, as I say, it doesn't do anything; it just exists. But looking at the dials and the dash is quite smart. So now that we're stuck with some lights, so we've got the G-force there, consumptions. You can even have your map on the right-hand dial as well for the satellite navigation. Set up your adaptive cruise, or you can have just your traditional rev counter. And then over on this side, so if I scroll across on here, speedo, clock, your trip computers, trip itinerary, and then obviously your media controls as well. So as I say, once you've kind of personalised it to what you want to do, even on the central dial here, there's a lot to play around with, but you tend to just kind of find what it is that you like and stick with it. But yeah, I mean, it sits almost in between a two-tier dash, which again I don't mind so much, because obviously you've got your vents on the central bit here, then the screen, then like the top dash. There's a little bit here which kind of stands out, but as a design it's pretty nice. You feel almost like cockpit orientated. It's very angled towards the driver, as it should be. The steering wheel is really lovely, the flat bottom steering wheel. Got the AMG badging at the bottom here to let you know obviously you are driving something of the AMG range, albeit a baby one, the A35, the smallest engine at 2 litres. It's still fantastic fun, and you do definitely feel that element of hot hatch, and the responsiveness is quite remarkable. As I say, they do kind of blow my mind a little bit. The seats are very comfortable. I've got good support. I've even got an electric lumbar support on this particular one, and obviously the steering wheel controls and the door card here, very easy to operate, and a heated seat button, which I'm not going to put on today because it's currently 24 degrees, so I don't necessarily need it. Panoramic roof, I've closed it, but it does work. I've closed it obviously to have better audio for the video, but it is nice. I do like a panoramic roof. It's not the be all or end all for me, but it does let a lot of light into the cabin, which is nice. But I think it looks quite striking in the red. I quite like it with the black interior and the brushed aluminium. Mercedes have done this for a few years now to have the brushed aluminium. It's really quite nice. And the aircon controls, they are thankfully still buttons, or dials in this instance to change the temperature, but buttons to do everything else, which is fine. But yeah, it's a nice place to be. The gear stalk is still on the right hand side, but very much looking like the indicator stalk. It's no different. But again, you get used to it. It's nice, and as I say, the drive of it, and it is very solid. Everything feels nice and tight. German build quality, I think, in the Mercedes range hasn't really faltered. I've maybe found in a couple of the later other German marques that they have cheapened out a little bit, but this obviously was nice. You know, it's got the aluminium around the multifunctional steering wheel, and that's all quite good. The haptic touch is nice, but it is a little confusing as to where you are, because it's very easy just to swipe too far wherever it is that you're swiping, and it kind of loses it a little bit. But now I'm going to enjoy the drive back, and we'll pick up when we get back to the showroom. I'll give you a proper good look around at the car, see if there's any prep, and then we can clean it, which will need an almighty clean, and we'll get it advertised. Thanks very much. Okay, so back at the showroom in the A35. It's a really fun drive. The roads were pretty kind to me today, and we live in some pretty fun lanes, etc. So yeah, it's quite good. Performance hot hatch as it is, it surprised me. I really like this in the red. I think that really works. It's got a few black bits around it, as you can see. The rear diffuser bit down there. Had a mini heart attack looking at a couple of the alloys. Someone's put these rim protectors on, which is good because obviously it's protecting the edge of the alloy. But I thought it was something wrong with the alloy at first. They do need refurbing. Obviously they are the AMG style, but I just think it looks really good in the red. And I'm in two minds as to what to do really. And wouldn't mind your input as such with these A35s. There's quite a few kits that you can get out there, like aero kits with front splitters, rear diffusers and side skirts and stuff like that, and they tend to be in the gloss black. So I'm half tempted to get one of those and fit it to the car just to see if that makes it a little bit more interesting, make it stand out amongst the others. And at the same time, I could get the alloys done in the gloss black as well to kind of like murder it out, as the phrase goes. But it just didn't look striking in the red. Really enjoyed it, and drove really well, didn't miss a beat. No warning lights or anything like that. I'll show you a little bit on the inside what I was saying about with the digital dials. Ooh. Okay, right, started up. I have also noticed that the button there is all worn, so I don't know what I can do about that, but I'm sure we can try and find something. So, as I mentioned, this here has an enormous amount of customization. You can even get the weather in your dial, your G-forces, consumptions, etc, etc. This is doing the map, which is asking for it to wait. Turn that down, and then if I go across to the center one, I can do a few things on here as well. Again, consumptions, boost, and then I can go across to the right, the left one rather, and get it to change from all the speedo, etc. So it's an enormous amount of customization, and that's just on this side. And then on this side, this does everything on here, which I can play music, go back to the home screen, do your media, radio, broadcast. It's great when you can put your full attention to it, but when you're driving, all I'm doing is swiping. It's a touch sensitive thing that I'm swiping, and it's quite distracting. So hopefully that shows you a little bit more about what I mean. But as I say, with the settings, you can do quick access to assistance, lane departure warnings, etc. And when I do a swipe right or swipe left, it sometimes goes twice, which is a bit of a pain. But you can do ambient lighting setup, all the internal lights, intelligent light system, which is the LED side of things. That is very, very clever. So you can do all of that via the steering wheel controls, or of course you've got this, as I say, it reminds me of the Lexus really. It's a bit more like a mouse pad, and I'm not the biggest lover of it. This doesn't do anything. It's just there to almost like rest your hand on to be able to play around with this. And again, it does like the haptic touch, but it's very, very distracting. I think once you've got it set up to be your preference of what it might be, you've still got just buttons and stuff down here, so that's relatively easy to control. You won't have to mess around with this quite so much. They do have the subheadings. You can click through to map, click through to radio / media, click through to parking assistance / camera, but again, it is reliant on the controls of either the steering wheel or this. So all in all, quite a fun car, and I have genuinely enjoyed driving it back with the pan roof open. The performance is great, the engine's really responsive, and I think once you've got it set up to be what you want it to be, then you know, you don't have to mess around with it quite so much, and it is a very nice cockpit area to be. The Burmester sound system was quite good on the way back through as well, so I was quite impressed with that. But yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed the video, and please do let me know in the comments, do we go for that exterior body kit to add a little bit of style into the car? Do I get the alloys done in that gloss black, or do we try and keep it as original as possible? The only difference with that is, or the difficulty I see with that is it doesn't necessarily stand out as an A35. It could be an A180 for anyone that's not necessarily looking at the rear badges. So it would be quite cool to kind of, you know, make it stand out a little bit different. So get in the comments, let me know. Please do continue to like and subscribe to the channel. It really is helping. The numbers are growing, and we're really stepping it up on the content side of things. So I really hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you for the next one. Thanks for watching.